Hello, guys. Welcome back. We had such a great blessing. Lord Hermes returned, so we've been happy and we've been celebrating. And it made me think of something. I saw a video today, and I know it was kind of the universe kind of giving me a challenge, giving me a poke, like, what you gonna do about it? There are certain people that only they're allowed to worship their goddess or god or fill in the blank. They might know all about your gods, and they feel entirely free to make stuff related to your gods and sell it to you, but only they're allowed to worship their god or goddess, especially if you don't work exclusively with their pantheon. And you know me, there's a reason I dye my hair red. I got awfully upset. I thought, well, if that isn't the cauldron calling the pot black, because here you are pontificating about gods you don't even work with, and yet no one else can touch your goddess because you're super sparkly princess. And Loki goes, instead of getting mad at these people because they'll always exist, why don't you work on your own knitting? There's a saying that you mind your knitting, they'll mind theirs. That doesn't work with humans, but it's supposed to. And I thought of it, and I thought, we've talked about our open door policy before in this house. What it means is that, especially because of Loki, especially because of Hermes, and partially because of Lord Hades, we have a welcoming home. Any god or goddess that wants to come here, they can see it as a way station. They don't owe me anything to come in here. They're god or goddess. They don't owe me anything. They can come in here, get a hot meal, get a place to sleep, do whatever gods do when they're in the presence of humans. We don't presume to always know. They can get love, and yes, they can get generalized worship, and they can be, know they're going to feel safe and know they're going to feel loved, because nobody in this house will let anybody touch any of our guests. So it's a really rewarding thing to work at, in my experience, because for one, you don't get a death grip on your gods. When you are literally open to every god in existence, and angel, saint, whatever, we're not choosy spirits, somebody's dog, we don't care. You don't have to have a death grip on your gods. You can warn people to be sensible with certain gods because maybe they don't appreciate as much foolery as some others will. But you don't have to have a death grip on your gods because they're not really your gods. All gods are your gods, and they can literally all come in at, any set time. And we don't get usually overrun by everyone at once. I have found out that, like, when you reconnect with one god or goddess in a pantheon, then, like, all the ones that you knew are, like, coming forward, and sometimes they are kind of crowding you, but you just have to be like, whoa, 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 one at a time, and they're okay. They're just like excited little puppies. A lot of times, the most ferocious, scariest described gods are like a little puppy when they see you. They're like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. And they're so happy to see you. And what we've gained through having an open door policy, my gods know they're safe. They know they're loved. They know they're going to be worshipped. They know that there's absolutely zero chance of a threat of another god coming in and taking their territory because the territory is open. It's everybody's territory. Big flipping deal. There's enough love and resources and everything else that any god can come in. Now that they understand that this doesn't mean that if they show up out of the blue, and I've never worked with them before, a statue is not going to materialize unless Hermes is really on point with stuff. And it's not going to be like a full-blown altar, though we do have places set aside where, visiting gods and goddesses can go. And again, they don't have to have me acknowledge them. They don't have to come up and talk to me. They don't have to beg my permission to be here. They're a freaking god or goddess. They're allowed to do as they please. And it's been really rewarding because in my experience, your gods feel more loved and they trust you more because you have this open door, and they know that means you have enough love and trust with your gods that they're not going to run out the open door. And any of them that come in, your gods are going to obviously vet any god or goddess coming in. So it's not like you're opening the door and anything's going to walk in. The flying spaghetti monster is going to be in your living room when you wake up tomorrow. No, that's not going to happen. But it's really it's really rewarding because, it's very easy to decide I can only show my love to my gods by clinging to them and them only, and yet you feel another god like, doing that like a little tiny puppy, and you look, it's almost like, not literally, but you look down, there's this little tiny puppy at your feet, and you're like, I already have a dog. No, that's not what happens. If you're walking down the street and you find a little stray puppy, you take care of that puppy. You might not have that puppy forever. The puppy might only have your house as way station. But that's the point. Like, sometimes you get a god that wants to just come in and be loved. Maybe they're having a really crappy day and they just want love from a human being for 5 minutes. So it's not the worst thing to do, because the funny thing was, this person that tends to get my dander up, a goddess that we both mutually work with, often uses this person to get my attention, because that's the kind of goddess she is. She's full of sass. And she knows it drives me up the wall to see someone have one set of rules for them and another set of rules for everyone else. But I think it was kind of the goddess's way of reminding me too, well, you can either get mad at this or you can do something, constructive in your own life. So I'm grateful. Not grateful that, I was reminded that way, but I'm grateful to be reminded. So it's just a thought. I mean, if it won't work for you naturally, don't do it. But it's a very rewarding thing, because you may end up working with gods and goddesses you would have never met otherwise. And it takes a little discernment sometimes. I mean, every single god or goddess I see pop up in my YouTube feed obviously doesn't want to come in and work. But when I keep getting consistent little nudges, then it's like, yeah, maybe they want to come in and maybe they want to be loved for like a week, a month, whatever. And then they're out the door again, but hopefully they're out the door happy, not out the door mad. So it's just something to think about, because I think we limit ourselves when we say, I'm only going to work with this pantheon, or I'm only going to work with the gods I have now. Because traditionally speaking, eclectics, or, and this is going to give me so much hate, eclectics are actually pretty close to our ancestors. So what our ancestors did is they had their own gods, but they weren't shy about going and grabbing somebody else's gods and worshipping that god too, because, life was a lot shorter back then. Your needs were a lot more immediate. There was no Walmart, there was no hospital, there was no anything. You had what you had, and if another god or goddess had something going that you needed, you wouldn't hesitate to go to them. So, it's something to think about. It's nothing we do to like try to make material gain. It's just something we do as thanks to the gods, as tribute to the gods. It's a good way of making a sacrifice to the gods without actually, you're really not expending any extra effort, because you're not going out and searching for these gods. They just know that they're welcome if they show up, and they know that they'll have love and they'll have a place to feel safe, because as soon as Hades returned, we kept, repeating, we want you to feel loved, we want you to feel safe, and we want you to feel appreciated. And then it like clicked, and I'm like, every god or goddess should have that opportunity. So that's why we have an open door policy. Every god or goddess, or, angel, saint, again, we don't care, deserves a chance to feel love and appreciate it, and to feel safe, to feel like they have a place to be where they're not going to get kicked out, and where they're not expected to, do anything. They can just be. It's a very rewarding experience, because to me, it's just, you can feel their gratitude. And at the end of the day, that's worth more than anything. It really is. So if you guys like what you see, like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you later. Bye bye.